barely able to look yourself in the mirror after relapsing on marijuana? It's actually something that happens more often than not. Why is that? Because being depressed prior to starting up weed and being depressed sober is a sign that your system needs help. Some people would say that depression is bad or it's not good for you, and more so, what I would say is that your central nervous system usually has a very reasonable and justifiable reason behind any emotion that you have. So, for example, if you're a man that maybe wants to approach women to get their phone numbers, you might have a bit of anxiety prior to an approach. And this, in general, might actually be so overwhelming that it inhibits you from even going and approaching at all. Now, that could be seen as a issue, as obviously you don't want to have this anxiety so that you could go perform and ask for her contact information. But at the same time, that anxiety is actually working at its best. It's doing what its job is. So this might be a subconscious issue on your own end, such as feeling like you're not able to get that phone number and you have a fear of being rejected, not sure what to say, not sure if you can handle the public embarrassment. There might be all these thoughts that run through your head consciously and subconsciously, to where that in itself just shuts your system down and approaching is no longer a viable solution. So the same can really be said for most emotional issues overall. Even depression. There may be a really good reason in your life that you're depressed. So even if you were depressed prior to smoking marijuana at all, and you smoked and it only made you more depressed, then the fundamental to this is that depression is an issue for you. There's something going on to where your system is protecting you from something that you can't yet either identify, handle, or get through, or at least has the perception that you're not going to be able to handle it well. So that's where these emotions can actually become the dominating force in what you will do or what you won't do or what you'll experience on an internal state. So consciously, you don't want to be depressed, but unconsciously, this depression is protecting you. Imagine going back and forth, trying to be sober and not depressed, as well as smoking again, leading you to more depression. Oh man, I just relapsed. I was doing so good. I had quit for a month, or I was off it for a year. And then I went through something stressful in my life, and now here I am again, smoking marijuana. I just can't do anything right. I'm a failure. I wish I could have just overcome this. This sucks. I gotta start all over, go through the withdrawal symptoms. I can't believe I was so stupid. Why did I even start this in the first place? So these are all different thoughts and feelings that might come up. And let's face it, if you actually could deal with this deeper issue that's going on, marijuana wouldn't even really seem like a solution, especially when life becomes overwhelming, stressful, and daunting. At the same time, you wouldn't have the feelings that you have, such as depression, because there's no longer a need for it. If you've addressed the root cause to your depression, there's no need to escape it through marijuana, and there's also no need to go through those internal feelings. That's why there's some people in this world that just kind of have this happy-go-lucky attitude, and they're more optimistic, and they look around and they have a lot more gratitude. It's just kind of how they are on a baseline level. Well, in your situation, your baseline is more so on the depressed end of things. You may be more critical of yourself. You may have judgments or criticisms just in general about yourself or your life. And if you don't really change the different approaches that you may have tried before, you can probably expect the same results. Because if you really knew what your issue was, wouldn't you deal with it? Then you wouldn't have to spend all that money on marijuana. You wouldn't have to go through all those uncomfortable feelings of depression. Maybe you would start calling your friends back. You might get back out there in the dating market. You might actually have a bit more of a hobby that you go out and enjoy. So whatever is going on for you, whether it's depression, anxiety, stress, fear, whatever it is, those emotions are there for a very legitimate reason. And definitely don't let anybody downplay your personal experience, because even if you don't necessarily know why you are depressed or what's going on that you feel that way, because you can't just get out of that state, it's actually just normal. That's what's going on for you, and there's a subconscious issue that needs to be addressed. So if you're ready to address whatever that may be for you, because it varies from person to person, reach out to me via Calendly link, or just private message me, and I'll be more than glad to have a one-on-one call with you, and we'll see if we're a good match. Take care.